Alright folks, welcome back to Rule of Thumb. Today I'm bringing you along for another alternative to cherry preserves. Today I'm going to do Balsamic Cherry Preserves. So it's going to give it a little bit of richness, a little bit of kind of a vinegary back note, so it's going to have some sweet and savory to it. I'm going to use the vinegar in place of the lemon juice, and I think it's going to be delicious. So I'm going to get everything together and I will bring you folks back, show you what we're working with. Okay folks, so again I am going to use, like I talked about in the last video, the classic Pectin from Ball, and I am going to use the recipe that is on the inside of here, except I'm going to change out the lemon juice with some balsamic vinegar. So I am going to use 4 cups of cherries, 3 cups of sugar. I will use 4.5 tablespoons of the Pectin, and what I have here is a 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar, which is a little bit more than the lemon juice called for, but I want that balsamic to be a prevalent flavor. So I am going to, just like last time, I'm going to get my cherries in the pan with my Pectin and the vinegar, and I'm going to get that, bring it to a boil. I will add in the sugar, bring it back to a boil, let it boil hard for a minute, and we should be ready to jar this up. So I'll bring you folks back and show you what it looks like when we get there. Okay folks, I thought instead of bringing you back at the end, I'd bring you for the actual process so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So I'm pouring my cherries in here, and I am going to put in my Pectin. So I need 4.5 tablespoons. So I got 1, 2, that was a little shy, 4, okay, and I need half yet. Another jar here. And a half tablespoon. So I got that in there, and I'm going to pour my balsamic in there. Alright, now I want a little spatula action here because I want to make sure I get all that balsamic out. And I used a good balsamic that I actually got from, and I know you will be shocked to hear this, but I got it from Aldi. You know, you folks know I love me some Aldi. So this is the balsamic that I used. Don't mind the phone in the background, that's Josh, he's on call today. So you can see it does not take long for this to start to come up to a boil. I am turning my burner down a little bit because I have a power burner on my stove, so it really comes to a boil very, very quickly. So I'm going to get this mixed up here, and then I am going to go in, oh, I missed a couple cherries there. I'm going to go in with my immersion blender, and I am just going to break this up. Like I said in the last one, sorry it's a little loud, but I like to still have cherries in mine, so I don't want to break up all of this. I just want to break up some of it. But I will tell you, I for the longest time kind of put off getting an immersion blender because I thought, is it really necessary? But this is a very useful tool if you make jams and jellies. So I am glad that I finally broke down and bought one. Okay, so now I got it broken up a little, so I'm going to turn my heat back up and let this come up to a boil, a rolling boil, and that is when we will add the sugar. So I'll bring you folks back when I get to that point. Okay folks, welcome back. So you can see this is at a full rolling boil that you can't stir down. So now I'm going to add in my 3 cups of sugar. Oops. And I'm going to get this mixed in. And you just want to stir constantly here because you don't want your sugar to burn to the bottom of your pan. Just get this all mixed in here. looks so good. That balsamic really made the color a richer, deeper red. So that's going to be beautiful in the jar. Now, I'm going to wait for this to come back up to a full rolling boil again. We're going to keep stirring it in the meantime, because again, you want to be careful that you don't end up with your sugar burning to the bottom of the pan. That's really your biggest nemesis in making jams and jellies, is being sure that you don't burn it. Requires constant attention, which is why a lot of people don't like making jams and jellies because it is definitely a hands-on labor of love. So, look at this. Oh man, I wish we had smell-o-vision, because the smell of this with the cherries and the balsamic is so amazing. I think this might end up being my favorite. We'll see. Alright, so we are at a rolling boil again. So now we are going to set our timer for 1 minute. Keep stirring, keep stirring. I know arms get tired, but you have to keep stirring, because I guarantee you this will burn to the bottom of your pan in a hot second if you are not stirring it. It happens that fast. So, 37 seconds. And you can see now, because you can see inside the pan here, you can see how much this rose. This is why you always want to use a bigger pan than what you think you need. Because this is what happens when you get to this final stage after you add the sugar in, is it blows up like this, and you do not want it to overflow your pan, because trust me, experience talking here, it is not a mess you want to clean up. Alright, so timer's done. We're going to kick the heat off on here. Just like last time, we're going to continue to stir this for a couple moments, just to kind of let the heat come down a little bit, because we're still on, high heat. We don't want it to stick to the bottom in the time that it's coming down. This gives you a chance to also evaluate how you think everything looks, which I think it is gorgeous. This one has a lot less foam on it than the last one had, which I'm sure is probably due to the vinegar. So, there we go. We are going to go over here and get us some jars. I think we will do a couple big ones and a couple small ones like we did last time. So, and again, these are coming straight out of my canner, where they've been kept good and hot. I got my freshly washed funnel. Let's turn you guys a little bit here so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get this into the jars. Oh, the color is unbelievable. Yeah, I am super happy with this one. Again, we're doing a 1/4 inch headspace, which is typical for jams and jellies. Looks like I might have went a little overboard on that one, so we're going to take a teaspoon out of that. There we go. Okay, and then we'll get our cloth here. Wipe the edges. Now I normally use vinegar, but for jams and jellies, sometimes I like just a nice, clean, damp cloth because I feel like I can get a little bit more purchase on the jar than I do with vinegar. So that's just my personal preference. You know, do what makes you happy. Don't stray from your own practice, I say. And occasionally I will use vinegar too, but I like a good wet cloth for this. Now these jars are smoking hot. This is where I'm going to use my little oven mitt because I can't even hold on to it to screw the lid on. Okay, fingertip tight. I got a couple of these old fruit topped lids that I got at an estate sale. They were unused. They're from the 50s. So I'm going to put them to use and hope that they seal. I know I'm taking a chance, but it's a chance I want to take. And you know, you got to do what works for you. Okay, so we're going to get 2 more jars out here. Hopefully this is going to work out just like the last one where we got exactly the 4 jars. And we'll fill these jars. God. This is really just so stunning. The color is just incredible. I don't think I've ever seen one that looks like this before. Yeah, I think we're going to be pretty close to on the money again. We might actually have a touch over this time, but that's okay. I'd rather be a little bit over than a little bit shy. I want a little full on that one again. So take a smidge out. Okay, get my cloth here. There we go. Wow, these jars are hot. Okay, get my little wand. Got another couple more of these lids from the 50s that I'm going to use up. And, I mean, they even still had the white rings with them, which I thought was really cool. So that was part of my reasoning for wanting to use them, was just a little nostalgia because I can remember my grandma having these jars and canning with them. So, get these in here. Everything nestled in there. Alrighty, make sure I got enough water in there. You want to be an inch over the top of the tallest jar. So I'm just going to add a little tiny touch more water in here, just to make sure I meet my minimum. Water's hot. Okay, so now I got that in there. I'm going to get my lid on. I'm going to kick my canner back up here. That's my water bath canner. And we're going to kick this back up to canning. Let this come up to a rolling boil. We'll set the timer for 10 minutes. At the end of the 10 minutes, we're going to turn it down, let it sit for 5 minutes, and then we'll pull the jars out, and I'll bring you folks back so you can see the finished product. Okay, folks, welcome back. So we have, sorry, tripped over something. I have let these sit for 5 minutes after I turned it off. Grab my little mitt here so I can bring you closer and see this. Alright. Look at how beautiful that is. Look at the color on that. I mean, it's just it's remarkable. It's absolutely remarkable. So I got 4 jars out of this batch, just like I did the last one. Super happy with that. And I got some Balsamic Cherry Preserves that I think I'm going to be able to find some great uses for. And what's really cool is I used some lids from the 50s, and all of them have pinged already. I just, like, literally just now. Not a loud ping, but all of them have sealed already. So, let me get down here with you folks. Hi. Oh, don't mind the hair, it's a mess. Anyway, I hope you folks enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Balsamic Cherry Preserves, another winner. So, I will bring you folks back when I come up with the next cherry recipe. I got a couple more up my sleeve yet, and I will see you folks next time. As always, hope you had a great day.